The courtroom is chilly, colder than it needs to be. The buzz of hushed whispers, the shuddering of cameras outside, and that soft waft of coffee and paper are in the air. Christine Brown sits at the plaintiff's table with her hands tightly clasped, not because she's afraid, but so they won't shake. Her eyes flicker once toward the door. She sees who is about to enter. Kody Brown, the man she once believed in, the father of her kids, the husband who once vowed to give her a forever, walks into the room like he owns it all over again. Same confidence, same practice charm, but the heft behind his smile is altered now. The courtroom isn't a living room, and there is no script. The judge adjusts his glasses, scanning the room as if trying to read the air. Case number 1476, Brown versus Brown. Plaintiff, Christine Brown, alleging emotional distress, manipulation, and financial misconduct. Christine exhales. This isn't about revenge. This is about finally being heard. All rise, calls the bailiff. The gavel comes down once, and the sound is gone at once. It started months ago this day when Kristen resolved to break out of Flagstaff. For years, she'd been the quiet type, faithful, long-suffering, the reconciler. She maintained peace as others commanded the spotlight. But one-sided peace doesn't last. One evening, following yet another fight over loyalty and spiritual responsibility, Christine stood in the kitchen, gazing at the wedding ring on her finger. Kody's words still ringing in her ears. "You made a covenant, Christine. You don't just walk away," she murmured to herself. "Then why do I feel like I already have?" The following morning, she packed one suitcase, left a letter, and drove to Utah. She didn't know she'd ever have to enter a courtroom, but when her attorney pulled out the financial reports, secret accounts, properties held in Robyn's name, and unpaid child costs, Christine knew she could no longer remain silent. The first witness to be called is Janelle. Her voice shakes just a little, but there is determination behind it. "Christine's not lying," she responds, glancing in the direction of Kody, but never once making eye contact. "We all experienced it. The way he'd show favor to one wife, then guilt the rest. Money talks, emotional pressure. It wasn't love anymore. It was control." Kody shifts in his chair, jaw tightening. He whispers to his attorney, but Christine doesn't need to hear. She already knows what he's saying. They're turning this into a show. But for once, Christine thinks, maybe it's time for the truth to be seen. "Mrs. Brown," the judge says softly, "you've lived in this arrangement for decades. Why speak now?" Christine pauses, voice low and even, "Because I believed that silence was peace." But silence was just another form of prison. The courtroom is quiet. Even Kody seems taken aback. Christine's never talked like this before. External. Outside the steps of the courthouse, reporters pack in. Christine Brown breaks silence. Headlines blink across platforms. Sister Wives fans pour social media with shock, outrage, and heartache. Some sympathize with Kody, others stand by Christine. The country's divided. But in that courtroom, the truth doesn't know anything about trending. Kody's attorney starts cross-examination. He is smooth, self-assured. "Mrs. Brown," he begins, "you assert emotional distress. But isn't it the case that you consensually entered into this plural marriage for nearly 3 decades? Christine looks him in the eye, unwavering. "Yes, I remained because I believed in him, but belief does not justify betrayal." The attorney smiles slightly. "What made the difference?" Christine breathes in deeply. "He did." The words cut deeper than any gavel. Kody's face contorts. Anger, disbelief. He leans in, the low tone venomous. "You're rewriting history, Christine. You knew what this life was." She shoots back softly. "I knew what love was, Kody. You just forgot." The crowd stirs. Even the judge looks up sharply. Kody's attorney attempts to take back control, but tension fills the air. All eyes are on the two of them. Two individuals who once referred to each other as soulmates, now glaring like strangers separated by truth. The final piece of evidence, Christine's attorney states, holding up a folder, is a record of financial transactions from joint family accounts into one held by Mr. Brown and Mrs. Robyn Brown alone. Gasps spread through the courtroom. Robyn stares, shocked, pale. "Kody, what is he saying?" She breathes, but Kody remains silent. Christine blinks her eyes shut. She remembers each vow Kody took, that each wife who shared his bed was equal, that love was not quantified in dollars or attention. Now those vows are exposed as figures on a page. Her attorney reads on, dates and transactions, money paid for houses, getaways, and high-ticket purchases Christine had no idea existed. Robyn starts to weep softly. "I didn't know," she whispers, but Christine doesn't even glance her direction. When the court adjourns for recess, Christine exits slowly, disregarding the popping cameras. Janelle trails behind, saying softly, "You okay?" Christine nods, but her eyes are glassy. "Yeah, for the first time in years, I think I am." But secretly, she knows this is only the start. Back in the courtroom, Kody's confidence is crumbling. The audience can tell in the faint shake in his hands, the darting eyes. He's no longer the self-assured patriarch of sister wives, but a man trapped by his own deception. His attorney gets in his ear, speaking in a low tone. "We can still make it right. Deny the transfers." But Kody sits silently, just looking forward. Christine observes him. After all those years of shared houses, shared hopes, and shared heartache, she almost feels sorry for him. Almost. She recalls, though, the evening he said to her, "If you can't be loyal to the family, you can go." And that's exactly what she did. The judge finally looks down from the bench, voice calm but firm. "We'll adjourn for today. Tomorrow, we'll hear from Mrs. Robyn Brown." The words hit the courtroom like a thunderclap. Robyn's eyes widen. She wasn't prepared to testify this soon. Christine glances at her, quiet but unyielding. "Tomorrow," she says softly, "it's her turn." Morning light streams in through the tall windows of the courtroom, harsh and unyielding. The crowd is thicker today, whispering reporters, flashing cameras, and every seat taken, all waiting for a single voice to be heard. Robyn Brown. Christine sits still, gaze locked on the stand. Her attorney reads notes, relaxed and measured. Kody, however, seems agitated, fidgeting, muttering, glancing at his watch as if he can't be here a moment longer. But nothing can be avoided now. The bailiff thunders, "Mrs. Robyn Brown, please step up to the stand." Everyone's eyes are on her. She moves slowly, trembling almost, holding a delicate cross necklace as a shield. After she's sworn in, she glances over at Kody, seeking reassurance in his face, but he doesn't even look at her. Christine watches her intently. Robyn's always been the tearful one, the weepy one on camera who talked of unity and family. But this isn't television. This is reality. The lawyer stands up. "Mrs. Brown, did you know about the money transfers into your shared account with Mr. Kody Brown?" Robyn's voice breaks. Not all of them." "Can you tell me about it?" She pauses, looking at Kody once more. "He said it was family money, just moved for protection." "I didn't ask questions." The lawyer nods. "Protection from what, precisely?" Her lips tremble. "From them," she says quietly, nodding toward the other wives. A murmur ripples through the room. Christine's jaw tightens, but she doesn't speak. The lawyer presses. "You're saying Mr. Brown moved family money into your account to protect it from his own wives?" Robyn swallows. "He said they couldn't be trusted with finances anymore." Gasps echo through the gallery. Kody's lawyer jumps up. "Objection! Irrelevant! Hearsay!" The judge holds up a hand. "Overruled. Go on." Kody's face is red, eyes blazing at Robyn, but she continues talking, tears running down her face. Christine glances down, fighting back tears she hadn't anticipated. This is no longer about jealousy. This is about betrayal hidden beneath years of commitment. Kody's attorney stands quickly, his voice now gentle. "Mrs. Brown, you've been upset. Could you have misinterpreted your husband's motivations?" Robyn nods weakly. Perhaps I just wanted to believe him. But the harm is done. Those 3 words, he said if the others ever turned on him, have already cut the courtroom like glass. The judge leans over, his face expressionless. "Mrs. Brown, did you ever think to question the legality of these transfers?" "No," Robyn confesses. "He assured me he took care of everything. And you didn't think to double check?" She shakes her head. "I trusted him." Kody finally speaks, slamming his hand on the table. "Enough. This is out of context. You're twisting everything." The judge pounds the gavel. "Mr. Brown, control yourself." The sound of the wood against the bench cuts the tension for a moment, but the air stays thick, charged with something close to fear. "You wanted loyalty," Christine says quietly, but clearly enough that he can hear her. "You got silence instead." Kody glares at her, but for the first time, his eyes are not angry. They are desperate. At recess, Robyn remains in the hallway, face in her hands. Flashing cameras and reporters buzz around her, shouting questions. She does not respond. In the courtroom, Christine's attorney speaks softly to her. We've opened the door. Tomorrow we push through it. Christine nods but can't help feeling the pain within. Robyn's confession had stung more than she had anticipated, not for revealing Kody's deceit, but for showing her how deep his manipulation had been. This had nothing to do with money. This was about control masquerading as religion. When court reconvenes, Kody steps up to the stand. The room falls silent in an instant. He smooths his tie, confidence coming back like armor. "This is absurd," he starts, voice icy. "I have always taken care of my family. Everything I did was for their benefit." The attorney walks around him in a slow circle. "Including keeping money from them?" "I didn't keep anything," Kody snaps. "I transferred funds to safeguard my assets because Christine was already going to leave." Christine leans forward, eyes wide. "You're accusing me of your own dishonesty?" He scowls back. "You declared war on me the day you ceased being true." The judge holds up a hand. "Mr. Brown, you'll speak to the court, not to your former wife." The attorney pushes a folder down the table. "Mr. Brown, in there are emails, yours, written a year prior to when Christine departed. You called her a financial liability and were talking about moving assets around to shield yourself. Would you care to clarify?" Kody is stunned. For the first time today, he is speechless. Christine watches quietly, remembering the countless times she was called ungrateful for wanting independence. The same man who once preached about spiritual love now sits exposed under fluorescent light, stripped of his charm. The lawyer slides a folder across the table. "Mr. Brown, inside you'll find emails, your own, dated a year before Christine left. You called her a financial liability and talked about transferring assets in order to protect yourself. Would you like to clarify?" Kody freezes. For the first time today, he is speechless. Christine stands silently, recalling the numerous times she was described as ungrateful for desiring autonomy. The same individual who used to sermonize about spiritual love now sits buried under fluorescent lighting, divested of his aura. As the throng spills out into the corridor, one question hangs in the air, muttered by journalists, fans, and even the attorneys themselves. If this is what emerged on day 2, what remains to be revealed tomorrow? Christine pauses before leaving the room, looking back at Kody one last time. For a second, they're just two people who once believed in forever. Then she turns away. The doors close behind her with a soft click, the kind of sound that feels final. The judge clears his throat. "We're reconvening on the matter of Brown versus Brown." "Counsel, proceed." Christine's attorney stands, voice steady but piercing. "Your Honor, the records introduced today are straight from Mr. Brown's private correspondence, emails, voice memos, text messages. These were obtained legally through discovery." Kody's attorney immediately objects. "These are personal, irrelevant." The judge cuts in. "Overruled, proceed." The room falls silent. Christine's attorney hits play on a recording. Kody's voice fills the courtroom, calm to begin with, then edged with anger. "If Christine keeps pushing, we'll move everything to Robyn's name. The others will follow, and she'll be left with nothing. It's the only way to protect what's ours." The words echo like thunder. Christine feels her breath catch. The crowd murmurs, reporters type furiously. Robyn buries her face in her hands. Kody slams his hand on the table. "That's taken out of context." But it's too late. The damage is done. The following morning, the courthouse air is different, thick. The rumors have become full-blown gossip. Something is happening, and everyone knows it. Before the gavel comes down, tension thrums like static on the air. Christine remains calmly seated in the front table, folded hands, gaze unwavering. Her attorney opens a fat black binder marked Exhibit C, the betrayal files. She doesn't know everything contained within, but she knows it's the proof that may at last crack Kody's case. On the other side of the room, Kody is pale, his jaw set firm. Robyn sits next to him, holding tissues, her eyes puffy from another night without sleep. The rest of the sister wives, Janelle and Mary, sit in the back row, quiet, tight. They all understand this isn't another hearing. It's judgment day for the truth. Christine's attorney approaches closer, eyes fixed on Kody. "Mr. Brown, that's your voice, right?" Kody glares. "Yes, but that's not the whole conversation." "Then tell us about it," the lawyer says coolly. Kody pauses. His silence is deafening. Christine's eyes close briefly. She recalls that night, the night that changed everything. Kody had called a family meeting. The wives were seated in the living room, candles burning low. He'd talked about loyalty and being one and obeying, but his tone had been different that night, colder, as if a warning. "You stand with me or against me," he'd said. Now in this courtroom, she realizes what he meant at last. The attorney keeps reading from the binder. "We also have several wire transfers from Mr. Brown's business accounts, amounting to over $280,000. These were transferred days prior to Mrs. Brown seeking separation. The account receiving was under Robyn Brown." Gasps run through the room again. Christine looks at Robyn, whose tears fall silently. "Mrs. Robyn Brown," the attorney speaks softly, "did you know about these transfers?" She nods her head, tears falling. "Not all of them. Kody told me it was for bills, for family necessities." Christine's attorney nods. "So you trusted him?" "Yes," she whispers. Kody grumbles under his breath. "You should have stayed out of this." But Christine hears it, and for the first time she doesn't flinch. The judge calls for order as murmurs fill the gallery again. Christine's lawyer holds up a printed email. "Your Honor, we'd like to enter into Record Exhibit F, a message from Mr. Brown to his accountant dated 8 months prior." He begins to read. "After Christine's gone, consolidate her shares into the new LLC. Don't mention it to her. She'll figure it out later, but it'll be too late by then." Christine's heart aches. Even with everything she's aware of, hearing it out loud still stings like a knife. The attorney goes on, "Mr. Brown, do you deny writing this?" Kody reclines, huffing harshly. "I was defending what I created. She didn't put money into those investments." Christine's attorney tilts his head. "The same investments which utilized money from common family accounts?" Kody pauses. "It was for everybody's future." Christine has a word finally, her voice soft but firm. "You mean your future." The courtroom sits in stunned silence again. At that precise time, Janelle rises from the gallery. "Your Honor, may I have a word?" The judge is taken aback. "Mrs. Janelle Brown, you are not a party to this litigation." "I know," she asserts, "but I was there when those accounts were opened. I saw the transfers. Christine didn't know because she wasn't privy to the books." Kody swings around at her, angry. "Don't you dare!" But Janelle keeps going. "You said we were putting the money away for the kids to go to college, Kody. But I looked at the records. You spent half of it on Robyn's house in Arizona." Gasps reverberate throughout the courtroom once more. Reporters rush to record each word. "You're lying," Kody yells. Janelle extends a shaking finger. "No, Kody, you are." The judge bangs his gavel. "Order!" When the commotion dies down, Christine glances at Janelle and smiles, a small, appreciative smile. Janelle smiles back, her eyes shining with tears. For years, the sister wives stood silently by Kody. Today, each of them is finding their voices one by one. Robyn is devastated. Mascara smudges her face as she speaks in a barely audible whisper. "I didn't know any of this." Christine's expression softens. "Perhaps you didn't. But you hung around while he did it. Now the courtroom is like a war zone. Truth versus loyalty. Justice versus fear." As the hearing reaches its conclusion, the lawyer glances up at the judge. "Your Honor, we request that Mr. Brown's financial assets be placed in escrow for further investigation." The judge nods. Motion granted. Kody's color drains from his face. "You can't do that." The judge's voice is firm. "You gave this court no choice." Christine breathes slowly. For the first time, she experiences a little victory. Not triumph, but relief. The secret is now out, and walls of Kody's kingdom are beginning to crumble. The courtroom doors swing wide. Mary moves up. Her hands shake ever so slightly, but her eyes are clear. She approaches the front, holding an envelope. "Your Honor," she whispers, "I have something to present." Something Kody never wanted anyone to hear. Kody's eyes go wide. "Mary, no." The judge motions her on. "Approach." She sets the envelope on the clerk's desk. It's a recording. "Last year, Kody wanted me to erase it, but I couldn't." The clerk plugs in the flash drive. The speakers hiss. Kody's voice rings out once more. Angry, raw, undeniable. If Christine thinks she can walk away with her dignity, she's mistaken. She'll regret crossing me, The courtroom gasps. Tears well up in Christine's eyes, but this time it isn't pain. It's closure. Kody claps his hands to his face, the weight of his own words tearing him apart. The judge glances down, his voice dripping with gravitas. Court will reconvene tomorrow for final arguments. Christine rises slowly, her heart racing but her spirit unshaken. She looks at Kody, not with hatred, but pity, for in the end, she did not ruin him. He ruined himself. Tomorrow, the narrator states, the courtroom is quiet, but the quiet is piercing, the type that crackles in your ears and makes each breath catch. Christine leans forward, her gaze pinned to Kody, who is unwilling to lift his eyes. The air between them is heavy with unresolved business, years of unspoken hurt that no gavel could ever hush. Robyn fidgets uncomfortably next to him, holding a tissue. She looks flawless with makeup, but her eyes are brimming with tears. The judge clears her throat, rifling through a stack of documents. Mrs. Brown, she says softly, you've charged Mr. Brown with emotional abandonment and financial dishonesty. You've also introduced evidence of mismanagement of joint family funds. Are you ready to bring this forward? Christine rises stiffly. She doesn't shake anymore. Yes, Your Honor. The projector whirs as a string of photographs covers the screen. Receipts, bank statements, deeds. The figures speak a more horrific tale than words ever could. She edges forward. For years, Your Honor, I left Kody to manage our finances. I had faith in our family, but when I asked questions, I was accused of being unfaithful. When I demanded justice, I was told to pray for patience. Kody glances up now, his jaw clenching. Christine, that's not... But she interrupts him, her voice rising, steady and clear. You purchased property in Robyn's name with our joint savings. You labeled it family property, but we couldn't touch it. You asked us to trust you, but you were creating a life for one wife while the rest of us had our dreams disappear. The crowd stirs. Even the judge looks over at Kody, whose face goes red. Robyn leans across the table, whispering hotly, Don't do that, Christine. You're distorting things. Christine looks across at her, eyes flashing. Distorting things? Robyn, you were the only one who came away with what she wanted. We all went out of our way to keep the peace, while you pretended innocence. You knew what was going on. The tension is broken. Robyn rises suddenly, weeping openly. You think this was easy on me. I didn't ask for this. I was just trying to keep this family together. The gavel comes down. Enough. Mrs. Brown, please be seated. Robyn sits, shaking. Christine breathes and confronts the judge once more. My daughters were raised believing love equaled sacrifice, that silence equaled strength. I remained because I didn't want to shield them from the truth. But there was one night when I knew silence shields the wrong ones. Her words linger in the air like smoke. The judge inclines his head. Thanks, Mrs. Brown. We'll take a brief recess before we proceed. The corridor beyond the courtroom is another world, colder, more unforgiving. Flashing cameras announce the departure of the family. Janelle moves beside Christine, her arm touching hers. You did what had to be done, she whispers. Christine manages a weak smile. It doesn't feel like victory. It's not meant to, Janelle replies. It's truth, and truth hurts. Down the hallway, Kody is walking back and forth. His attorney attempts to reassure him, but his voice grows louder and louder. She's painting me as a bad guy. I constructed this family. I sacrificed everything for them. Then why does she sound like they were the ones who had to give up? The attorney grumbles under his breath. Kody doesn't respond. His chest labors, his mind racing. He pictures the cameras recording his every step, the reporters whispering, the hashtags being formed before the case is even complete. They're all against me. He sees Christine down the hallway, flanked by supporters, those who once glorified him, now bowing at her courage. The betrayal stings deep. Court reconvenes, and the defense summons Robyn to the witness stand. Her hands shake as she affirms under oath. Mrs. Brown, the lawyer starts, what would you say your relationship is like with Christine? Robyn pauses. Complicated, she whispers. We were close once. We celebrated holidays together, had late-night conversations, but things fell apart after I married Kody. I became the embodiment of all that she hated. Christine gazes at the floor, her expression inscrutable. Robyn goes on, cracking. I never wanted to replace anyone, but I saw the family breaking up, and Kody, he needed someone to lean on. I tried to be that for him. I didn't know it would make everyone resent me. Kody's face relaxes a little, the first softening of emotion all day. The lawyer nods. Did Kody ever discuss money, property, or favoritism among the wives with you? Robyn's head shakes rapidly. No, he made decisions by himself. I didn't know the information. Christine snaps her head up. That's a lie. The attorney protests, but the judge permits Christine to reply. Robyn, you were there when he informed me that I couldn't put my name on the house. You said, don't make things more difficult for Kody. I recall every word. Robyn's lip trembles. I was attempting to maintain peace, Christine. Christine's tone softens just slightly. Peace isn't built on silence, Robyn. It's built on truth. For a moment, neither woman speaks. Their shared pain fills the space between them. Two women, once bound by faith and family, now divided by betrayal and survival. The judge finally speaks. It's clear this family has suffered from emotional and financial strain. I'll review the evidence before ruling on asset distribution. Outside, the tempest erupts, thunder rumbling over the courthouse rooftop. Rain slashes the windows as though nature itself is mirroring their conflict. Christine leans against the awning, gazing up at the gray heavens. Funny, she whispers, how something can seem to be breaking apart when it's really being washed clean. Behind her, Kody emerges, his face inscrutable. For the first time, he appears nearly lost. He comes to her slowly. You really think this is justice? Christine turns towards him. No, Kody. This isn't justice. This is consequence. He opens his mouth to respond but holds back. The expression in her eyes, peaceful, determined, unyielding, says it all he needs to hear. The grip he once had, he no longer has. The wind blows between them, sharp and biting as Christine moves away. Within the courtroom, the clerk of the judge collects papers and mutters to the bailiff. Do you think they'll ever reconcile? The bailiff lets out a deep breath. Peace is not something you receive. He whispers, you have to bleed for it. As the lights dim and the doors shut, one reality settles in the air. This wasn't just a battle in the courtroom. It was the end of an eternity of illusions. And tomorrow, when the jury delivers their verdict, no member of that family will leave unscathed. The day of the verdict dawns surrounded in an unsettling quiet. The courthouse looms in the space beneath a pale ceiling, half illuminated by a feeble sun struggling through sullen clouds. It's a type of mourning that seems to be holding its breath, anticipating something that can't be undone. Christine Brown gets out of her car, her hair pulled back neatly, her face serene but exhausted. She holds a tiny silver pendant, a present from her daughter truly, and murmurs, whatever it is, it's done now. In the courtroom, the air vibrates with emotion. The benches are packed. Reporters, bystanders, even devotees of the show who got lucky. Cameras snap. Every action seems amplified. Kody sits at the defense table, shoulders set in stone, gaze on the grain of the desk. He's not the self-assured patriarch anymore, just a man laid naked in front of the world. Robyn is sitting next to him, mascara already smudged, muttering silent prayers. Janelle sits behind Christine, her rock-steady presence like an anchor. The bailiff commands the court to order. The judge comes in. The gavel rings out like a gunshot. Court is now in session. We will now read the verdict in Brown versus Brown. Christine takes a deep breath. Kody's fingers tap anxiously on the table. The judge starts, her voice firm but somber. Upon close examination of the evidence, testimonies, and financial accounts provided, this court finds material inconsistencies in the management of pooled family funds. Although no criminal intent was established beyond a reasonable doubt, there is evident proof of financial mismanagement and emotional manipulation. Kody's head jerks up. What does that mean? He grumbles. The judge goes on. Thus, properties obtained under joint marital trust are to be distributed equally among all lawful wives, with retroactive compensation owed to Mrs. Christine Brown for denied property rights. A whisper runs through the court. Christine's eyes blink once, not taking a breath. Moreover, the judge states firmly, this court recognizes the mental anguish inflicted by Mr. Brown and orders a settlement to compensate for emotional damages. Christine exhales, slow, trembling, and disbelieving. For the first time in years, she feels seen. Kody slams his hand on the table. This is absurd. You're punishing me for trying to keep my family together. The judge raises her gaze. Mr. Brown, this court does not punish love. It holds accountability for control disguised as love. The room falls silent once more. Christine glances over at Kody, her former partner, her guardian, her family. Now he's nothing but a stranger suffocating in his own self-portrait. The family exits the courtroom into a downpour of reporters. Microphones shoved forward, voices tangled. Christine, how do you feel following the ruling? Kody, are you going to appeal the ruling? Robyn, are you supporting him? Christine guards her eyes against the flashes and responds evenly. I'm free, and I hope this serves to remind everyone that even love can never be worth losing yourself. At her back, Kody shoves through the cameras, growling, "You don't know what really went down. None of you do." He storms toward his vehicle, Robyn running after him, begging softly, "Kody, please, not here. Let's go home." Home. He spits. There is no home anymore. The door thumps, ringing through the parking lot like a last page turning. That night, Christine sits on her flagstone porch in Flagstaff, wrapped in a blanket, gazing at the dying horizon. The desert stretches out endlessly, like a blank page. She takes her tea slowly as light bleeds into pink and gold. Her phone vibrates. It's a text message from Janelle. "You did it. You spoke for all of us. I'm proud of you." Christine responds, "It still hurts, Janelle. Even when it's over, it still hurts." Janelle answers simply, "That's how healing begins." Her gaze wanders to an old photo on her table, all the wives and kids smiling together in front of their old house. She traces her finger over it, whispering, "We were supposed to be forever." But eternity, she comes to understand, was constructed on borrowed hours. Somewhere else, Kody is sitting by himself in a blackened living room. The lights are out, the home strangely silent. Robyn is in her bedroom, weeping gently, but he doesn't stir. He simply gazes at the family pictures on the wall, the ones which used to make him feel proud. They now seem like proof. He takes up a picture of Christine and the children, framed. His voice breaks. "You think you won, Christine? You ripped this family in two." But he knows in his heart that isn't true. She didn't break the family, she just stopped keeping it together. His reflection in the glass looks older, heavier. For the first time, he sees what Christine saw years ago, a man desperate to control what he couldn't understand, love that didn't obey. The weight of his own choices crashes down. He drops the photo, glass shattering across the floor. "Sometimes," he mutters bitterly, "you don't realize you're the villain until the credits roll." Days after, Christine shows up for a low-key interview. No makeup, no glamour, just pure honesty. The host inquires gently, "If Kody were watching right now, what would you say to him?" Christine gazes directly at the camera. "I'd say, thank you, because without the pain, I'd never have found my strength." The host leans in. "Do you think you'll ever forgive him?" Christine smiles gently. "Forgiveness isn't for him. It's for me, and I think I'm getting there." Weeks go by. Life starts to heal. Janelle and Christine begin a small community initiative for single mothers, women rebuilding after emotional and financial devastation. The cameras come back, not for conflict, but for something genuine. Kody and Robyn, on the other hand, step back into the shadows. Rumors circulate that he's penning a book, that she's asking him to go to counseling, that the other wives aren't answering his calls. One afternoon, Christine gets a letter. It comes from Kody. She hesitates before she opens it. The writing is uneven, shaky. "Christine, I don't anticipate forgiveness. I don't even know if I deserve to justify, but I want you to understand I did love you. I just didn't know how to love you in the way you required. Perhaps I never did. I hope you will find peace where I was unable. Kody." Christine folds the letter gently, placing it in a drawer. For the first time in a long while, she feels something unexpected, closure. Later that night, she steps outside again, looking at the desert stars. They seem brighter now, as if the sky itself has forgiven her for holding on so long. She whispers to the quiet, "It's over." Then softly but firmly, she adds, "But I'm still here." The camera would stay on her face, serene, powerful, bathed in moonlight.